Hello Planeswalkers, Andrew here, bringing you a little bit of a different video from Mondays. I believe Tyler did one of these last Monday, just going over these spoilers for M21. I'm fairly certain he stopped around the day that the video went up, because I think he recorded it the Sunday before. So I'm going to assume, I did ask him to confirm, I'm not going over June 8th spoilers, I'm going over everything after June 8th. Between then and today, which is June 14th at 7:30 p.m. So hopefully nothing else is spoiled today, because that would be awkward. But anyways, we got a lot to cover. We're just going to go over the stuff that I find interesting and the stuff that I think is going to be fun and good. So, just my opinion of the spoilers so far. This is courtesy of Scryfall, by the way. So, First thing I see is this new legendary creature, Joel Rael, Wonvuli Recluse, one of my famous pronunciations. She's got a neat extended art. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green cat creature token. 4 green until end of turn. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. That's a very interesting effect for a green card. Interesting. Because it expects you to draw a bunch of cards, yet it itself does not draw you any cards. That's interesting. Maybe you're not meant to run her as your commander? I don't know. Because green's not the best at drawing cards. Oh well. Stormwing Entity, and I'm gonna get all the rares before going over the other stuff, by the way. So, this spell costs 2 and a blue, less to cast if you cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. That's pretty neat. Flying with prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn and enters the battlefield scry 2. I could see... Well, I could see myself using this in a Spellslinger deck. That's kind of what it seems to be meant for. I mean, that much is obvious. Check out this new Chandra. This is some really neat card art. But, as much as I love Chandra, I was hoping we were gonna have some more new stuff in this set. Because we got a lot of Chandra in the last core set. Like, we got 3 or 4 Planeswalker cards for her. I was kind of hoping for the same kind of thing for Teferi. I would have liked to see 3 or 4 different Teferi cards. That would have been neat. But I still like Chandra, so it's a minor complaint. So Chandra, Heart of Fire. Discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library until the end of the turn. You may play those cards. +1, Chandra, Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target, and -9. Search your graveyard and library for any number of red instant and or sorcery cards. Exile them and shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn. Add 6 red. I'm not incredibly impressed with that. It's going to take 5 turns before you can cast her ultimate, which is a long time for a Planeswalker to stick around, and I don't feel like the payoff is quite good enough. Sure, she adds 6 red, which can enable you to cast a pretty good spell, maybe 1, maybe 2, depending on how much mana you have up at the time. But it's only instant and sorcery cards, and they have to be red. It's pretty restrictive. I'm not very impressed. I would still run Awakened Inferno over this, but I'm not going to be disappointed if I pull one in a pack. That's all I'm saying. Chandra's Incinerator. It's a new elemental. Could this be a new toy for Omnath? Let's see. The spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total amount of non-combat damage dealt to your opponents this turn. Ooh. So you can drop... This is going in Omnath, for sure, just with that effect alone. If you drop Omnath when you have 4 other elementals on the field, Omnath is going to hit and deal 5 damage to any target. You can target an opponent. The opponent will will take 5 damage, and then you can cast the Incinerator for 1 red, which is great. It's... Sure, you would get 1 more damage off of Omnath if you play the Incinerator first, but this way you're only paying 1 red for it. That's awesome. As Trample, whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target creature. Oh, this is a 10 million % going in Omnath. Oh, because the next time you cast Omnath, okay, so you want to find another way to deal non-combat damage, so you can get this thing's cost down, play the Incinerator, play Omnath, and you can hit an opponent for a bunch of damage, and then hit a creature for a bunch of damage. That's great. That is so good. I like that a lot. At least in the context of an Omnath deck. Ooh, a new Planeswalker. From Amonkhet, I believe. He looks like he's from Amonkhet. Basriket. Lord of Amonkhet, Basriket. That's all I can think of. Just sounds similar. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target creature, gains indestructible until the end of the turn. -2 whenever one or more non-token creatures attack this turn. Create that many 1/1 white soldier tokens that are tapped and attacking. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Okay. So for me, I'm thinking of putting that in my Lena deck, because you can give things indestructible, and if you get to his ultimate, which is it only takes 3 turns before you have enough loyalty, 4 turns before you can use it, at least, and then you just get an emblem. Emblems are the best. Emblems are my favorite thing that Planeswalkers can do. That's partially why I'm more unimpressed with Heart of Fire, Chandra Heart of Fire, because Chandra Awakened Inferno is a +1 emblem, so it's super duper my favorite kind of thing. But this thing just gives you an emblem that makes creatures, and it makes all your things bigger. Not just bigger for the turn, but just permanently. It's a counter. Mangara the Diplomat, a legendary human cleric with lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you, or a planeswalker you control, target or draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. Okay, so it's weird white card draw, is what I'm understanding. Which is neat. It's weird, but it's neat. Baneslayer Angel. Flying first strike, lifelink protection from demons and from dragons. That's just keyword soup right there. I do want to go back and take a look at some of these. Maybe I won't just focus on the rares. I want to read some of these. Direfleet Warmonger. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, Invigorating Surge. This is a similar effect to Hydra's Growth from Theros. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of counters on that creature. Pretty neat. If it's already a Hydra, then you just make the Hydra twice as big, or a little bit more than twice as big. So it's pretty good in that context. Chandra's Megmut. Megmut. Getting some decent elemental support here. Megmut deals 1 damage to target player Planeswalker, that's whatever. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, it gets +1/+0 and gains double strike. Okay. Yeah. That's not bad. I'm seeing a theme here with red of non-combat damage. This thing's tapping to deal non-combat damage. This gets bigger when you deal non-combat damage. This gets cheaper when there's a theme there. And then white's theme seems to be, besides what white normally does, it seems to be dogs. You have Selfless Savior, which is just the most sad card I've ever seen. It's just this happy little dog that you sacrifice to give another creature you control indestructible for the turn. She raised him from an orphaned pup and gave him a life of love. With his last act, he thanked her. It's so sad. Why is the death of a dog so much more sad than the death of any other fictional character in anything ever? It's just so sad. You got Pack Lead. Skimming over that and moving on, because time constraints. Pack Leader. Other dogs you control get +1/+1, so it's a Dog Lord. This one's also a Dog Lord, so with both of these are Dog Lords. They're the same thing. Oh, It took me a second to realize that it's the same card with different art. To be fair, they have different art. I kind of prefer the normal art though. It's like not an Austrian Shepherd, but it might be an Austrian Shepherd. It's the sheepdog, sheep herder. It's a good boy. So we have See the Truth. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in an order. If this spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards in your hand instead. Okay, so this rewards you for casting it from the grave, or from anywhere else, really. That's neat. So, you know, that might actually be something I would put in my Golos deck, because that means if you exile it off of Golos' effect, and then play it, cast it from exile, that would proc that. That's pretty neat. Pursued Whale. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent creates a 1/1 red pirate. Okay, I think Tyler was telling me about this. It's a callback to a cycle of pursued creatures that would be really good for their mana costs, but they would give your opponents things in return. Spells your opponents cast to target it costs 3 more to cast. Pretty alright. We have Eliminate. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with CMC 3 or less. Okay, so it's a cheaper murder. I think murder's 3 mana. If I'm wrong about that, I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but yeah. Oh yeah. There's alternate art for Chandra, Heart of Fire. I like this art more. Yeah, I like this art more. Still kind of iffy on the card, though. Volcanic Salvo. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. Deals 6 damage each up to 2 target creatures and/or planeswalkers. Okay. Okay. So if you have a lot of powerful creatures, this could go in a Gruul deck or any deck that has that's heavy on creatures. Make it real cheap. I mean, you can get it down to 2 red to deal 6 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures and/or planeswalkers. Just 2 red to eliminate a planeswalker and a creature. Here's Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. Flying Gadrak can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts, so it's a hoarding dragon. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. Huh. Okay. You know, that could be good for like a Corvold deck. I just finished editing the Mario Bros. Deck Tech. That's something to look forward to next month. A deck tech themed all around Mario Bros. It's an aristocrat-style Jund deck, so very similar to a Corvold deck, but powered down because it has to be themed. But yeah, that could work in that. Double Vision. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for copy. Okay. So it's a copy spell. Oh, it's an enchantment. Oh, so you just get to do that once a turn. It's pretty decent. Idol of Endurance. When it enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards with CMC 3 or less from your graveyard until it leaves the battlefield. 1 and a white, tap. Until end of turn, you may cast a creature spell from among the spells. Okay. Okay, that's pretty decent. So, he exiles all creature spells from your grave when he enters, and then you could just cast them from exile. That's pretty alright. Primal Might. Target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, then it fights up to 1 target creature. Okay. It reminds me of a weaker Finale of Devastation. Elder Gargaroth. Vigilance, Reach, Trample, that's a lot of keywords. Whenever it attacks or blocks, choose 1. Create a 3/3 beast, gain 3 life, draw a card. Okay, so this thing draws you cards when it attacks or blocks, which does feed into Jolriel's ability. So maybe we're seeing some more green card draw in this set. Pretty alright. So yeah, that's a lot of value for 5 mana. That's a good value card. Here I see the reprints of the Temples. Maze Mind Tome, put a page counter on it. Scry 1, put a page counter on it. Draw a card. When there are 4 more page counters on it, Exile it. If you do, you gain 4 life. Let's see. Chromatic Orrery. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. You can tap to add 5, which with its first effect, that 5 colorless is actually 5 of any color that you want. That's cool. 5 and tap, draw a card for each color among permanents you control. This is a pretty good card for a 5-color deck. I mean, it's pretty good in any multicolor deck, but especially in a 5-color deck. 5 and tap, draw 5 cards. It's cool. I like that. I feel like that's going to be a staple for multicolor cards. You might have just heard my dog bark. Yeah, that. You might have. Oh well. Ooh! Look at this art! For Mountain. The fire. That's cool. I want to see more of that. New card art for Cultivate. I've seen some of these before, that's why I'm not acting super surprised, but this art is very pretty. I believe Heroic Interventions is a reprint. Fabled Passage is a reprint. Alpine Watchdog. Here's an Elemental Dog. Meteorite. There's a battlefield that deals 2 damage anytime. Is this a reprint? This might be a reprint. I don't remember. Garruk's Uprising. It's Garruk on Ixalan. That's pretty neat. That's my favorite word, apparently. Neat. I don't mean to keep repeating it. It's just the way I'm talking. Warden of the Woods. It's Treebeard. Traitorous Greed. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap the creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Add 2 mana of any one color. Okay. Is that a threaten effect? I think that's what that might be called when you take control of a creature for the turn. Light of Promise, Riddle Form. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may have Riddle Form become a 3/3 Sphinx, in addition to its other types in the end of turn. Scry, okay. Not super impressive. Burl Fist Oak. Couple of tree folk. Sensing a little bit of a theme there. Whenever you draw a card, it gets +2/+2. Yeah, I'm seeing more of that green do a thing when you draw a card, so it is whenever you draw a card though, so this would happen on every draw step of yours. So essentially it's going to be a 4 or 5 on every one of your turns, at least, unless you draw more cards. Conspicuous Snoop. You may play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast goblin spells from the top of your library. As long as the top card of your library is a goblin card, it has all activated abilities of that card. This is the card that Tyler was telling me about being already being broken. People breaking it with Kiki Jiki. I think that's in Modern. I'm sure you could also pull it off in Commander. I don't know the full combo, but it involves making infinite copies of Kiki Jiki. Or infinite copies of a goblin using Kiki Jiki, so you'll have to look it up because I don't remember it, but it's apparently an infinite, very broken combo. Lofty Denial, counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. Okay, this is going in Locust God because I'm always going to have a flying creature, almost always anyways, and that means that they have to pay 4. It's just another 2 mana counter spell. Leafkin Avenger, it's Leafkin Druid Badangi. Add green for each creature control with power 4 or greater. 7 and a red, it deals damage equal to its power to any target creature or planeswalker. So, if you make it big, it's 8 mana, hit something for a lot of damage. But as it stands, 8 mana for 4 damage is kind of wimpy. But still, that add green for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. It's like Bad Gaia's Cradle. That's what that is. Very Bad Gaia's Cradle. Draw a card, then the card's name. Okay. This is a card that I don't care about because you need multiple copies of it, and I play Commander. Transmogrify. Exile target creature. That creature's controller reveals cards off the top of their library until they reveal a creature card. That player puts that card onto the battlefield, then shuffles the rest into their library. Okay. Huh. That's just a Chaos Ward effect, right? I'm curious about this now. Chaos Ward. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals top card of their library. Okay. So it's worse Chaos Warp. It costs more, and they reveal cards until they hit a creature. So instead of just being like, hey, if it's a permanent, you get it on the top card. But if it's not, oh well. But this one is like, they're going to get a creature, and it may be worse than the creature you just got rid of. So you can do it to yourself, though. You can, in fact, do it to yourself. Fiery Emancipation. If source of control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple damage instead. Combine this with Dictate of the Twin Gods and what's the other one? There's another card that doubles damage, but double, triple, that's 12 times damage with all three of those. And if you want to be less risky, you can combine this with Impact Tremors and or Perfro Scout of the Forge, so that every time a creature enters, you're dealing 3 to 6 damage to each opponent. 9 if you control all 3 of them. It's pretty decent. Furious Rise reprint. Garruk Unleashed. This is a case where I kind of like this card art a bit more. Well, I guess this is cool. It's got the glowy eyes, it's got the animals behind him. +1, up to 1 target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garruk. Okay, that's not odd. So if you create a beast and then an opponent has more creatures than you, it basically makes that loyalty ability 1 cheaper, but it's still a minus. It's still a -1 with that effect. Okay. -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card, put it into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a good emblem. And once again, it only takes 4 turns to activate it. So, still looking better than that Chandra. Yeah. Oh, Vryn Wingmare. Vryn. Isn't Vryn the plane that Jace is from with the mage rings? I might be getting that mixed up with something else, but I think that's what Vryn is. So we're getting a little bit of a look into Vryn. Is that Vryn? Yeah, Vryn is the place with the mage rings. Okay. So that's where Jace is from. So this is a creature from Jace's plane. That's very interesting. I would like to visit Vryn. Derek's Harbinger, hexproof from black. Oddly specific. That's worse than hexproof and protection from black. It's just worse than both of those effects. It's worse than the sum of its parts. I don't like that. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, look at that many cards from the top of their library. You may reveal a creature card or Garruk Planeswalker from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest into the bottom of your library in the round of order. Okay. That's alright. That's okay. But if it had protection from black, then it couldn't be blocked by black creatures. Or at least it couldn't be dealt damage by black creatures. Hexproof doesn't stop it from getting killed that way. And if it had hexproof from every color, like normal, that would be better. That's bad. I don't like that. Subiri Polzidi Caravaner. Ugh, I'm butchering these pronunciations. Haste 1, another target creature with base power 2 or less can't be blocked. 1 on red. Discard your... Oh. You can make something unblockable, and if you give it like infect, you can basically guarantee infect getting through. If you have multiple creatures with infect that are power 2 or less, you can just keep paying into Subira and rack up the damage, rack up the infect. Or well, commander damage is less likely than. Sporeweb Weaver, reach hexproof from blue. There's that hexproof from a specific color again. It's bad. I don't like it. I think it's terrible. Yeah, whatever. Thieves Guild Enforcer. Whenever Thieves Guild Enforcer or another rogue enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. I love that mill is a keyword now. It's so good. I love it a lot. As long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, it gets +2/+1 and has Death Touch. Ah. So after a certain point, she becomes a 3/2 with Death Touch. For 1 mana. For 1 mana. This is going in my Yarok deck. Because when it enters, each opponent mills 2 cards. And then it could get bigger. I'm cool with that. It has Flash too. Oh. I'm getting thirsty. Talking so much. Got another Hydra. Look at how happy this boar is. So look at how happy this boy is. Look at him. He's just so happy. So cute. It's awesome. I love this boar. Truffle Snout. That's awesome. Feline Sovereign. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have protection from dogs. Whenever 1 or more cats you control deal combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Neat. There's an extended art of it. Gormand. Ooh. That's gross card art. An additional cost, cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, flying, trample. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Okay. That could also go in Yarok. Yeah. Oh, we see another one of those lands! Look at that swamp! It's so pretty. Also extended art, Idol of Endurance. And Storming Entity. Look, this is just a cool new frame, isn't it? Oh, and you see Liliana's headpiece in the background there. That's cool. Sacrifice Liliana's Steward. Target opponent discards a card. Activates this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Okay. That's okay. Liliana's Standard Bearer. When Liliana's Standard Bearer enters the battlefield, draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. Okay. This could go in any Aristocrats deck. It's pretty alright. It's weird to me that with the special colored frames, Liliana's, or the black is the only one that has the Planeswalker's symbol on it for that specific character. Like, I know that this red one and this green one both have the Planeswalker symbol, but I would expect the red to have something relating to Chandra, and the green to have something relating to Garruk, since those are the Planeswalkers that represent red and green in this set. Oh well. Oh, Peer into the Abyss. I hate this card art. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's bad. It's disturbing. But it is a fractal. There's another alternate art for Garruk Unleashed, Garruk's Uprising. A lot of alternate arts in this in this day. And there's a reprint of Duress, Defiant Strike. Interesting. Watcher of the Spheres. Creatures, spells with flying you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever another opponent or another creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, Watcher of Spheres gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Brash Taunter, whenever it is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. This is going in, this is good for mutate decks. You mutate onto it, then you just pay into it to have it fight another target creature, and since you mutate onto it, you can make it bigger and keep that effect, and it has Indestructible. So, well, it has Indestructible. Oh yeah, and it deals that much damage to target opponent. So you mutate your commander onto it, if your commander is mutate, and then you can just start hitting your opponents with commander damage, just by paying into it and having it fight things. That's really good. Karavek the Spiteful. Other creatures in -1/-1. It's pretty underwhelming for being a rare. This is in Spanish. What does it say? That's another window. I don't get there. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1 and has flying, and is a demon. It is a demon in addition to its other types. You may cast Demonic Stupor from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding a card in addition to paying its other cost. Speaking is hard. I have these flubs while I record scripted videos as well. I just cut it out. I redo it, but I'm not doing that here. Oh, discontinuity. He's cutting his fingers off. Ugh. But I do like this spell a lot. As long as it's your turn, the spell costs 2 blue less to cast. So if it's your turn, you can pay 1 and a blue to just end your turn. If it's anyone else's turn, you can pay 6 mana to end their turn. So you can use it to bypass end step effects like exiling a card at your end step. You can bypass that. You can play the politics game and tell someone that you can help them skip their end step for whatever reason, or you can just use it in an aggressive way. As soon as a player starts their turn, you're like, 6 mana, you don't get your turn. Essentially, just no. So it's versatile. I like it a lot. Don't know what I would play it in, but I like it. Yambi, Esteemed Speaker. When it enters the battlefield, you may return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you gain life equal to that creature's CMC. Discard a legendary card, draw 2 cards. Okay. Terror of the Peaks. Spells your opponents cast that target it cost an additional 3 life. Yeah, if you want to get rid of this thing with a target effect, you gotta pay life. Alright. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. Okay. Speaker of the Heavens. Taps to create an angel. Alright. Animal Sanctuary. There's an extended art of these. Hooded Blightfang. It's a snake. It's like Jafar. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. Okay. So, it gives all of your Death Touch creatures drain effects, and gives all of your creatures with Death Touch against Planeswalkers. Okay. Oh, we're near the end. Okay. Reprint of Palladium Mirror, Great Soul Mirror, Scavenging Ooze reprint with a new card art. As fancy and disgusting at the same time. Very well drawn though. Sam Rowan, pretty good art. Sublime Epiphany, she's taking the face off. That's weird. Choose one or more. Counter target spell. Counter target activated ability or triggered ability. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Target player draws a card. You can do all 5 of those for 6 mana. You can just say no to a couple of effects on the stack if you have 1 triggered ability and 1 spell. Return a card to bounce a card to its owner's hand. Create a copy of a creature you control, and target player draws a card. That's a lot of effects for 6 mana. That's a lot. That's a lot of value. I like that. Rata, Heart of Keld. As long as it's your turn, it has first strike. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands from the top of your library. That's very nice. 4 red, green. It gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control. So this is a very lands matter creature, which is good that she's red-green then. So. And with that wraps up this week's spoiler roundup, is what I'm gonna call it, anyways. Maybe we'll do this every time a new set comes out. I've just been completely awful with remembering to record Brawl on Wednesdays, so this is admittedly halfway an excuse or something to do instead of that, because I did forget. But then Tyler was like, hey, I did this week of reviews, why don't you do next week instead of gameplay? So gameplay will come back. I will have to remember better to record Brawl from my Monday videos. But in the meantime, until M21 comes out, this is probably what we're going to end up doing. We might do this as the lead up for other sets. We'll see. We'll see what comes in the future. But if you want to kind of influence that decision, leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about this. Let us know what you think about this concept in general of just replacing our gameplay videos with discussions on the new set as they're spoiled, but only leading up to the new set, and having gameplay the rest of the time. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, consider subscribing, and have a great day.